Ladies and gentlemen, this is Diana Crunk, and she is no longer with us because a 911 operator back in July of 2020 did not send an ambulance when they were supposed to. So, a 911 call over in Pennsylvania went into a dispatcher, and instead of sending an ambulance, they did not do their job, and this costs a woman's life. So, a Greene County detective last week filed charges against Leon Lee Price, 50 years old, of Waynesburg. In July 2020, death of Diana Crunk, 54, based on Price's reluctance to dispatch help without getting more assurance that Crunk would actually go to the hospital. I believe she would be alive today if they would have sent an ambulance. And this is her daughter, Kelly Techinel, 38 years old. This is what she said to CBS. Price, who was also charged with reckless endangerment, official oppression, and obstruction, questioned Techinel repeatedly during the 4-minute call about Crunk would agree to be taken for treatment. Price was arraigned on June 29th and released on bail. He did not reply to messages left at his home number listed on the police report. Mm-mm-mm. It has to be very clear throughout the entire state that when you call, it is not going to be conditioned on somebody on the other end of the call saying there's going to be a service provided or not. Right. And I agree with that. If somebody calls, send the ambulance. Send the ambulance. What are you being reluctant about? Just send it. So anyway, um, okay, so Lawrence E. Bolin is the lawyer that's representing the daughter in a federal lawsuit filed last month. What we're trying to do here is make this never to happen to somebody else. In the 911 recording, an operator identified by police as Price replied to Techinel's description of her mother as needing hospital treatment by asking if she was willing to go to the hospital about a half an hour away from where she was living in Sycamore. Okay, so she will be cuz I'm on my way there. This is what the daughter was saying. She's going to die. Techinel told Price as she drove from her home to Mather. Price said that he would send an ambulance, but then added that we really need to make sure she's willing to go. She's going to go. She's going to go, Techinel said, because if not, she's going to die. There's nothing else. She said that Crunk was not thinking clearly and that she was her mother's closest relative. When Price again asked if Crunk would in fact go, wow, how many times are you going to ask her that on the phone during a 911 call? So her daughter replied, okay, well, can we just try? After Techinel told Price she was about 10 minutes from her mother's home, Price asked if Techinel would call 911 back once she made sure Crunk was willing to go in an ambulance. This is the stupidest call. Wow. So he just really wasted a lot of time going back and forth instead of just dispatching the ambulance there. Because this is really silly. It's like a repetitive phone call. He's just saying the same thing over and over, and she's responding. And what's the point in all of this for real? So when Techinel and her three children arrived at the house, she said Crunk was nude on the front porch and talking incoherently. She got her mother to, put on a robe. She just kept saying she was okay, she was fine. Techinel said she's the mom, and she doesn't listen to her children. Techinel said that she could not call from the house because her mother's landline could not be located, and there was not a cell service. Believing that her uncle would soon check on her and that another contact with 911 would be pointless. This is unheard of to me. I mean, they'll send an ambulance for anything, Techinel said. And here I am telling this guy that my mom is going to die. It's like her death. And she doesn't get an ambulance. Her brother found out the next day that their mother had died. Prosecutor of Greene County District, Dave Russo, said that he is also investigating whether there was any policy or training under which the county 911 dispatcher would allow would be allowed to refuse service to callers. I don't think they can. We all deserve equal protection and we all deserve access to medical services, Russo said in an interview. I have a major concern as to the safety of the community in regards to this. John Kelly, a Napa Valley, Illinois lawyer who is a general counsel to the National Emergency Number Association, said criminal charges against dispatchers for failing to send help are very rare, but have happened. In this case, Kelly teaches a dispatcher training a 911 operator in Detroit received a year of probation in 2008 and lost her job after authorities said she did not take seriously a boy's call to report his mother had collapsed. I remember that. I remember that. It was a 5-year-old. And in fact, it was this was a little black boy, and his he was with his grandmother and she collapsed. So he went to the phone and did what he was told to do, call 911. And I guess she heard this child's voice and thought the child was playing. He wasn't playing at all. He was really trying to get help for his grandma. And I remember when this happened. I remember because it made big news. And on the news, they were playing the actual recording. And you could hear the little boy trying to tell this woman, my grandmother fell. She's on the floor. And she's yelling at him, stop playing on the phone, stop playing on the phone. So she hung up on him, which she shouldn't have done, and he called back. He must have called back about 2, 3 times and kept getting this same woman, and she would not believe that there was something wrong with his grandmother. I remember that. So she got probation. Is that it? Okay, so the 5-year-old boy testified, and that dispatcher accused him of playing games and hung up on him, while the dispatcher testified that she could not hear the child. Yes, you did, because I remember the recording. If you couldn't hear the child, then how could you tell the child he was playing on the phone? Because you said that to him. I remember that call. Techinel, on the behalf of her mother's estate and Price in Greene County in Pittsburgh federal court last month, along with two 911 supervisors. The lawsuit accuses Price of callous refusal of public emergency medical services. Marie Millie Jones, a lawyer for the county and 911 supervisors in the federal case, said her clients plan to vigorously defend the lawsuit and do not believe they are liable for Crunk's death. She said that they are personal matters that are ongoing regarding Price, but declined to elaborate. It's unfortunate that this woman died, certainly from a personal point. That's very difficult, Jones said. I'm not going to comment on details of her circumstance. Techinel told Price that her mother had been drinking heavily for weeks before she died, and that Techinel had noticed that she was losing weight and was turning yellow. She said the autopsy concluded that Crunk, who had worked in home health care, died of internal bleeding. She said she thinks about her late mother every day and how the former longtime sub shop manager loved to cook, to help people, and to spoil her five grandchildren. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. What a shame. You know, it makes you wonder, why are you in that job if you don't want to do the job? Or you got an issue with sending an ambulance. But, ladies and gentlemen, it just goes to show you how one person that fail to do their job can cost you your life, especially in a medical emergency. So, I mean, this is a terrible thing and it can happen to virtually anybody. But, y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.